Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Naveen Kini. I'm a pediatrician in Bengaluru. Let me get down to the next topic, that is burn injury. Burns are defined as injuries that result from direct contact or exposure to any physical, thermal, chemical, electrical or radiation source. How common are burn injuries in India? Unfortunately, very common. We have about 7 million burn injuries, burn cases annually. Over a million people are moderately to severely burnt every year. That's a lot of people. Almost 140,000 people die of burns every year. If you see this graph on the left, the most cases of burns are in the very productive age group, 15 to 35 years, and majority of them are women and children. And as many as 80% of them are from preventable accidents that occur in the kitchen. So a little bit of care in the kitchen can prevent 80% of this 1 million, 80 lakh cases. So all the more important that you listen to the prevention aspect very carefully. How do burn injuries occur? The most commonest types of burns are the thermal burns, those caused by heat. They can be caused by dry heat, that is either a fire on an electric iron, or sometimes can be caused by something wet, that is hot water, steam, or oil. It's also called as scald. They can also be caused by friction. Those of you who run long distance will be very familiar with the what do you call it, the chafing of the thighs or even the nipple bleeding after a marathon or a half marathon. It can be caused by cold or frostbite. Frostbite is a kind of burn. Electrical currents. This includes even lightning. Lightning is one of the most severe forms of electrical burns you can get. Radiation like the one that occurred in Chernobyl, and also sunlight. Sunburn is a very common cause of burn. And of course, chemicals. It can be both acids as well as alkalis, strong acids and alkalis. Where do burns generally occur? Most commonly, like I said, in the kitchen, followed by other areas of the house like the bathroom, living room, and outdoors. Other factors that contribute to burns are occupation. Most of you, if you have been to Srinagar and been to the Dal Lake, you can rest assured that almost every person who takes you on that shikara ride or any photographer who comes to take your photographs is almost completely sunburned, because the sun is not very hot there, so they tend to stand in the sun, but those rays are very dangerous. There's a very high incidence of skin cancer in them. Age, extremes of age, of course, are always prone to burns. Habits, smokers, definitely, and especially if it is combined with heavy drinking, the chance of you burning yourself and your house down is very high. Social factors, the more primitive the area, the more, the primitive, the thinking, the more the incidence of burns, the chemical burns like acid injuries. And long-standing diabetics are particularly prone to burn injury because of a condition called diabetic neuropathy, which reduces the sensation in their extremities. And so it takes a long time for them to realize that they're getting burnt. And so by the time they realize it, a lot of injury has occurred. So the degree of burn is more in diabetics. So talking about the degree of burns, if you see the normal skin, we have two layers called the epidermis and the dermis. A burn that involves only the epidermis, the top layer, is called a first degree burn. These are extremely painful, but they heal without scarring. They last about a week. The second degree burn is a burn which extends a little bit into the dermis, not completely, but a little bit into the second layer, the dermis. So these generally have pain, redness, swelling, and blistering. They're also called partial thickness burns. A third degree burn has burned through both layers of the skin and into a part of the underlying what is called the subcutaneous tissue. So this usually is associated with extensive scarring later on, and these burns can be less painful or even painless because even the nerves of the skin are destroyed with this kind of burns. There also is the fourth category called the fourth degree burn, wherein in addition to the subcutaneous tissue, the underlying tissue like muscle and sometimes even the bone is damaged. These are very severe forms of burns. So what do you do when someone has a burn injury? First, you have to cool the burn. Keep that area under running water for a minimum period of 15 minutes, preferably up to 20 minutes, at a temperature of 20 to 28 degrees. That is the running water in our Indian taps. Take care not to use ice cold water because that can cut off the skin supply to the blood supply to the skin and hinder with the heat exchange. Do not break small blisters. They form natural protection against the infection. But if you have large blisters, we may have to, put a syringe inside, aspirate the fluid, and if they are open, we may need to dress the blister. Remove rings and tight items immediately. This is very important because burnt areas swell up very fast. So if you don't remove these things, then you may have to cut them off and they can cause constriction injury. So remove the rings and tight items, and also, if possible, keep the burnt part at a level higher than the heart so that the swelling that occurs is a little less than what it would be if it was below the heart. So always remember to elevate that portion of the body which has got burnt. Apply a lotion. You can apply just an aloe vera gel, or if you feel that it's likely to get infected, you can use what is called a silver sulfadizine cream. But remember, the cream application has to occur only after the cooling, after the 15-20 minutes of cooling. Only then you can apply the cream. Most burn injuries are best left alone, but some large injuries or injuries which are very likely to get in contact with dust and mud can be bandaged. The large injuries anyway have to be bandaged. While bandaging, you have to remember to use what is called a lubricated gauze as a first layer and then dress it up with bandage so that while removing it is less painful and nothing sticks to the wound. Pain reliever can be used, generally paracetamol. If it's severe, you can use ibuprofen or something even stronger. This is something very important. This is something which we tend to forget, especially burns in small children and burns on large areas. You can lose a lot of heat right from the burn and plus from the fact that you're uncovered. So prevent heat loss, otherwise you can land up with hypothermia. What do you do if your clothes catch fire? This is a common scenario. First thing is to stop. Do not panic and run, because panic fuels the flames. When you run, the flames get bigger. Next, cover yourself. Heat rises, so you need to protect the delicate skin of the face, your eyes, your eyelids, etc., and also prevent inhalation of the smoke, which can damage your respiratory tract and the oral cavity. So cover your face. Immediately drop to the ground and roll backwards and forwards on the flame. By rolling backwards and forwards, you deprive the flame of oxygen, so it cannot burn. So the flame is put off. If you do have a bystander with you, the bystander can help you by pouring water on you or covering you with a flame-resistant rug or even beating the flame out of you. But remember, a fire extinguisher other than water cannot be used on the human body. They are very good for putting out the fire in the house, but this cannot be used on the human body because they stick to the body and will help to keep the heat inside, and so that increases the amount of damage that occurs. So no fire extinguishers to be used on the body, but you can use it on the rest of the fire in the house. What are the burns that require a visit to the hospital? Large and deep burns. A large burn is a burn which is more than 1% of the body surface area. So a rough estimate is the size of your palm. Your palm is considered 1% of the body surface area. Anything more than 1% of the body surface area requires a doctor to look at it. Anything more than 9 to 10% of the body surface area in a child, or more than 10 to 15% of the body surface area, requires a specialized burn unit and admission and IV fluids, because they can lose a lot of fluids and go into dehydration very fast. So you need to go to immediately get admitted to hospital. All chemical and electrical burns, because there is a potential for scarring. Burns that cause white and charred skin usually are third-degree burns. Burns on the face, hands, genitalia, feet, and legs, because these are exposed areas. So we need more specialized care to see that the scarring is minimal and the cosmetic defect is less. And burns inside the mouth and respiratory tract, because these areas tend to swell up and compromise with either swallowing or breathing. How do you prevent burns? Keep the kids out of the kitchen at hectic times. Older children can be told about the importance of not coming near fire. Move all handles towards the center of the stove. This is such a temptation for that little one there. So to just pull it down and pour everything on himself. So move it away from the center of the stove. Move it towards the center of the stove, away from an area where it can be reached. Let the food cool in the microwave before taking it out. This is very important, especially if you're letting children handle food. And if you have anything covered in the microwave, open the cover away from you so that if any steam escapes, it doesn't come onto your face. Avoid loose fitting and easily flammable dresses while cooking, especially saris. Loose saris, you have to be very careful. I'm sure you have remembered this scene in Mrs. Doubtfire with Robin Williams. Outside the kitchen, set water heaters to 50 degrees. Children, newborn should be bathed with just lukewarm water and not the kitty water that our grandmothers used to use. Have child-proof electrical switches. This is very important. You get these silicone covers for electrical switches. Keep matches, lighters, and candles away for obvious reasons. Put away the electric iron after use. Humidifiers are not really recommended. Of course, they're good for your cold, but one of the commonest burn injuries I see is in small infants who put their hand and pull this towards them and pour the water over them and the mother. Encourage your child to play in the shade if they're going to be outside for a long time to avoid sunburn. And of course, if they're going to be in the sun, use a sunscreen of an SPF of more than 30.